everyone, welcome to my keto journey. So today I want to share with you a recipe for cube steak, gravy, and rice. Okay, so usually when I talk about rice, I talk about cauliflower rice. But today we're going to be talking about some new product that I found. And I've never tried it, so I'm going to let you know how it is. But it's Miracle Rice. And it's made from the konjac flour that I usually get with my noodles. And the nutrients on it is 2 servings, so half a package is a serving, is 15 calories, 4 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fiber. So really it's 1 net carb for a half a bag. Or if you eat a whole bag, it's just 2 net carbs and 30 calories. And so these are shirataki noodles, known in Japan since the 7th century. And so they are, Miracle Noodle says it's a naturally low-calorie, low-carb, paleo, blood sugar friendly, and keto compliant. So we are going to test this out today. But now I'm going to move you over to the stove and we're going to get ready to make our cube steak and gravy. Okay, before we get started, I'm going to show you, I'm going to have green beans tonight. And these are fresh green beans that my cousin brought over, put on my porch for me because we're social distancing. And I put them on earlier today so they could get nice and done and tender. And so here we have our cube steak. And the only thing I'm going to do to our cube steak before fixing it is to put some salt and pepper on both sides. And the one thing I do want to mention is that it's good to have your meat out for a while, just so that it's not ice cold. Because when you have ice cold meat and you put it in a hot pan, it tends to seize up, and that's what makes it really tough. But even if you don't have time to do that, this recipe is going to make sure it's nice and tender for you, because we're going to build a gravy around it. But the first thing we're going to do is heat up our pan. Move this out of the way. We're going to heat up a pan, and I just have a little bit of butter in here. And I'm just going to add a touch of olive oil in on top of that. I'm using my new pan. I said I knew I was only going to use this for bacon and eggs, but I'm finding that it really cooks nicely. And I really like that. So we're going to let my pan heat up just a wee bit here. Okay, so our pan is hot, and I'm just going to put the steaks in the pan. And then I'm going to give each steak a good sear so that it's nice and brown on each side. Now, it does not have to be done at this point because we're going to put it back in the pan to cook with the rest of the stuff. So I'm going to brown this, and when it gets brown, we'll come back together. Okay, so our steak is nice and brown. It's not fully cooked yet, but I'm just going to remove it and place it back here in the little dish. And then we have all these yummy juices left over, and that's going to use to our advantage. We're going to use that. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we're going to saute some onions. So I have about half an onion cut up, and then move that around just a wee bit. Let that start cooking in. And then also to that, I have about a cup of mushrooms. We're going to throw those in there, and I did not cut those up. They'll shrink down. Just remember to clean your mushrooms. You do not want to clean your mushrooms by washing them because they already contain a lot of moisture, and if you do that, your mushrooms are going to be very rubbery. What I do is, let me get one out before it gets too hot. I take my mushrooms and I just wipe the top of them off like that and get the dirt off of them. Okay, so we're just going to mix this around. Let me get another tool for that. So we're just going to saute these until they're nice and tender. And then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so now our onions and mushrooms have started cooking down. We're going to add 4 ounces of cream cheese. So that's about half a block of cream cheese. And I'm just going to chew it in pieces here. That's about roughly half right there. Okay. And then we're going to stir that around, make sure it gets melted. So this is the basis of how I make cream of mushroom soup as well. Cream cheese is the base to my cream of mushroom soup. Okay. Now this will thicken, especially after I add my next 2 ingredients. The next thing I'm going to add is about 1/8 of a cup of heavy cream. Just kind of eyeballing it there. And I'm going to add a little bit of beef broth in there. But that is why I keep the grease, you know, the drippings from the pan in there, because it adds a nice, lovely beef flavor to it. Okay, and I'm just going to mix this around. Now, I'll have the full ingredients, of course, in the description box for you of how I make this. Since I only have 3 pieces of steak, though, of course, I will eat some for dinner tonight, and then I'll eat some for lunch tomorrow. Usually my lunch is based on leftovers, or I intermittent fast on those days that I don't have leftovers. Oops. Of course, you want to taste. Just going to add a little S&P, some salt and pepper in here. This pepper comes out incredibly slow. A little salt, and I'm using kosher sea salt. And we're going to stir. Now, if you would like this to be a little bit thicker, of course, you can add some xanthan gum. I usually let my meat cook in it first to see if I need to make it thicker before I eat it with the rice. And then I adjust accordingly. But I tend to find that heavy whipping cream sort of adds, makes it thick on its own. And I just add a little bit more in there with the onions and the mushrooms. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my meat back in here. And we're going to let this slow cook until it's fully done. Now, I know this is going to look gross to you, but I'm putting those juices back in. They will cook. Okay, so I'm going to turn this from medium-high down to medium, and then I'm going to let this simmer and cook for about 30 minutes, and then we'll be back. Okay, guys, so our steak has been cooking about 25 minutes or so, and the gravy has thickened up a little bit, and it will continue to thicken as it continues to heat. Now, I have our rice. I poured it in there. I put a coffee filter in my drainer because, you know, I have big holes in it. So now, to get the best result of this rice, it says to heat it up in a dry pan. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm heating a dry pan up, and I'm just going to put this in here. And this just gets the rice texture that we want. So let's see how that does. Get another spatula out here. So we're just going to heat this up, and then when this gets done, I'll fix the plate and show you how it all comes together. Okay, guys, here's what it looks like all plated up, and I have to tell you, it's pretty amazing. Let me show you the rice. Now, I just put it in the dry pan, no kind of cooking spray or anything, and just let it dry out, and it really does look like rice. So, it didn't stick to the pan or anything. Once it got completely dry, it stuck a little bit, but all I did was do this, and it just came, you know, undone. So this is going to be for tomorrow. So let's give all this a taste test. Okay, here's the rice with the gravy. Pretty hot. It's not bad. It tastes mostly like the gravy because the rice doesn't really have a taste to it. The only thing I'd say is the texture. Probably have to get used to the texture to it. But I eat a lot of cauliflower rice, so it's pretty comparable to that, except it almost feels like, I forgot what the word is, but it feels like that. You know, the little bubbles that you put in a drink sometimes in Vietnamese drinks and stuff. So squeaky bubbles. Almost feels like that, but it's pretty good. So let's give the meat a taste. Perfecto. Nice and tender. And then this is our green beans. I love fresh green beans. Especially those cooked with bacon. Alright guys, whoops. Thank you for joining me for my keto journey. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Just a quick little easy recipe about the chocolate drink that I drink every night. Alright guys, I will see you all soon. Make sure if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down there. And don't forget to tap the bell so you can be notified each and every time I upload a new video, depending on the option you choose in the drop down menu of the bell. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye!